Hey, I wanted to get on here and speak to my fellow neurodivergent people, the people that are living with ADHD specifically, because that's what I'm living with and that's what I can speak to or speak from. Child, you get the point. This is something that really helped me, gave me perspective, and really encouraged me. Really encouraged and empowered me, right? So a few weeks ago, I found myself in the shower, just like crying out to God, talking to him about how tired and exhausted and burnt out and weary I felt. And he told me, you are burnt out because you have been living and chasing a life I never called you to. Say, what? Huh? I was not shocked, but that truth pierced me, and I really had to stand there because I was in the shower for a while, because it was just like, yeah, you're not wrong. Because the tiredness I was feeling, the weariness I was feeling when I look back at it was self-induced. It came from me putting a lot of pressure on myself for doing or not doing things. And you have to understand that your pace is different from the normal person because you're wired different. We're being so conditioned to live this neurotypical model of life that we don't realize how much is burning us out. He just had to remind me, like, I never called you to do that. I never asked you to do that. Anyway, back to the shower. That statement really touched a core part of me because it was true, right? But I think the beautiful part that came after that was the fact that God took me to a specific area in the Bible that correlates with that, with weariness from performance, right? And just before I get into that, I am on a journey of acceptance. God is really taking me through accepting my diagnosis, because this is the brain, the mind, the body, soul that he is giving me, and it is not by mistake, and it's for his glory if I allow him to be glorified through it. Anyway, he took me to Matthew 11:28-30. That scripture says, "Come to me, all who are weary and heavy laden, and I'll give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, and your soul will find rest. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." The context of that scripture was Jesus talking to God's people at that time about weariness and performative Christianity, because they had been so burnt out, so weary, so tired, so exhausted from trying to keep up the laws that the Pharisees had put in place, the laws of their society at that time, to make sure that they are upholding God's law. Because they genuinely felt like in order to obey and really live by God's law, they had to just do more. They thought it was by their power and their might. They were trying to do it in their own strength. So they was like, you know what, let's just put more laws in place to make sure that we are not disobeying God. And it was wearing them out. It was wearing them out because it was not humanly possible to do that. And if you manage to do it, it produces a whole lot of pride and self-righteousness in your heart. Hence the Pharisees. Or it takes a toll on your mind, body, soul, and spirit. That's why Jesus was calling them to rest in him. Rest in his ability to fulfill the law. Rest in his ability to take care of them. But most importantly, he was calling them to relationship. He was calling them to And in this season, Jesus is calling us to that same rest. Rest in him. Rest in his ability. Rest in his promises, and know that we're not fighting from a place of defeat, but from a place of victory. The word said, in this world you have troubles, but take heart. Be encouraged, because I've already conquered. What God is teaching me in this season is that whatever your thorn is, the victory has already been won. The purpose of you even wrestling with it is an opportunity to exercise faith, to take it and hand it over and surrender it to him and say, I trust you to walk with me in this. I trust you to carry this with me. It is an opportunity to strengthen your faith, and God is also using it to refine you, to prune you, to strip you, to help you become what he has created you to be. This video is already too long, so I'm going to stop it here. But if you would like to hear more about my acceptance journey, my wrestle, how I've wrestled with faith in my diagnosis, medication, and so on and so forth, let me know in the comments. Have an amazing day, y'all. Bye-bye.